Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our quick publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC. On a Friday before the Saturday when Liverpool were meant to play Wolves, that game has been postponed due to the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. All Premier League and Football League games have been cancelled for this weekend. It is also likely that next weekend's games will be cancelled. Liverpool are due to play Chelsea, but with the Queen's funeral due to be on likely the Monday, it appears that the Chelsea game and all Premier League games on that weekend will also be cancelled. Now, I understand that a lot of people are annoyed by this decision, and obviously there's going to be a lot of people put out who have travelled for this game or arranged to travel for the game. There will be local businesses and vendors who will lose out. There will be match day employees who will lose out. So I can absolutely see the argument that this is affecting too many people. But let's be fair, we all knew this was going to happen. As soon as news broke yesterday that she may well be in her final hours, everybody's reaction was the games will be cancelled this weekend. There is no real precedent for this. She was queen for 70 years. So if it seems like people are making it up as they go along, it's because they are. Because this hasn't happened before in the lifespan of the Premier League. And in terms of the Football League, well, I'd imagine games were cancelled back in 1952 when her father passed away. So I understand that people are annoyed, but I also understand that there are a lot of people who will want to mourn. There are obviously a lot of people who are anti-establishment, and many of them support our club. But there are also a lot of people who are pro-establishment and who are devastated by the passing of their monarch. Now, I did find it interesting that Piers Morgan, for the first time in his life, made a decent point that the Queen was a massive supporter of sport, loved sport, and would have probably wanted games and events to go ahead. It's notable that rugby have not cancelled games, rugby league is to go ahead, but this is just what it is. This is just what it is, and it's unfortunate. But from a Liverpool point of view, from a footballing point of view for Liverpool, this is a good thing. This is a good thing because that team needs days on the training pitch. They really do. And if we can have another month or so without a league game, then we can get a lot of our players back so that when football restarts after the international break, we'll be in a really good position to hopefully kickstart our season. If we're not playing, we can't lose any more ground. It's as simple as that. Now, we'll play Ajax almost certainly in the European Cup next week, but I'm quite happy not to have to watch James Milner try and play football for a couple of weeks. I have to tell you, I couldn't have dealt with that because it's an abomination. But I was thinking how insane it is that she was queen for 70 years. Like, that's absolutely extraordinary. I believe she's the second longest reigning monarch in history, behind one of the French kings who became king as a baby. I can't remember which one. She was 26 when she became queen. And I'm going to say this, and I know it's not going to be popular. I found a lot of the celebration and vitriol from certain corners of our fan base to be a little bit much. If you're anti-establishment, that's fine. You can be that. You don't need to prove it by acting like you were dragged up. You really don't. I got it with Thatcher. Absolutely. I could 100% see it with Thatcher. I'm no fan of the monarch at all. I think the idea of a monarch in this day and age is an absolutely ridiculous concept. I think it's mind-blowing. I think it's mind-blowing that the British national anthem contains the phrase "long to reign over us." But, and remember, whatever gripe English people might have against their monarchy, against the ruling powers, Irish people have far bigger gripes. So, but she was just born into a family. Like, she wasn't meant to be queen. Her father wasn't meant to be king. It got pushed on him, and as a result got pushed on her. It wasn't a choice she made. Yes, she could have abdicated, but I mean, it wouldn't have stopped there being a monarch. So I don't really, I just can't get on board with the bile that has spewed out all across social media. I thought it was a little bit of a bad look that the club site or the club Twitter account waited until about an hour and a half after every other club in the Premier League had tweeted about it. But I understand why they did it, and I understand why they turned off the replies, because I know what would have been the response to that tweet. But 70 years. And at the end of the day, she's someone's mother, someone's grandmother, someone's great-grandmother. She's just a woman. She's a woman that's died. Like, we don't need to celebrate it. Maggie Thatcher was different. Maggie Thatcher chose to become a politician, chose to become prime minister, and chose to do what she did. How much say do you think the Queen has had in British military policy over the last 70 years? Or in British economic policy? The answer is none. But it got me thinking about Liverpool. 70 years. When she became queen, Don Welsh was the manager. Since then, there's been Phil Taylor, Bill Shankly, Bob Paisley, Joe Fagan, Kenny Dalglish, Ronnie Moran as caretaker, Graham Souness, Roy Evans and Gerard Houllier in that ridiculous joint manager nonsense. Gerard Houllier, Rafa Benitez, Roy Hodgson, Kenny a second time, Brendan Rodgers, and Jurgen Klopp. Like, think of how much of our history has happened while she has been queen. In terms of captains, Phil Taylor, who would become the manager in 1956, he was the captain, followed by Bill Jones, Laurie Hughes, Billy Little for 3 years, Johnny Wheeler, Ronnie Moran, Dick Yates. Then Ron Yates for 9 years, Tommy Smith for 3 years, Emlyn Hughes for 6 years, Phil Thompson for 2 years, Graham Souness for about 2.5 years, Phil Neal for a year, Alan Hansen for 3 years, Ronnie Whelan for a year, Alan Hansen again, Ronnie Whelan again, Mark Wright for 2 years, John Barnes for part of a season, Ian Rush for 3 years, John Barnes, Paul Ince for 2 years in one of the stranger things that took place, Jamie Redknapp for 3 years, Robbie Fowler was part of that captaincy group because Redknapp got injured. Then Sammy Hippier. Then Stephen Gerrard for 12 years. And Jordan Henderson since 2015. In terms of honours, we won a second division. We won a league title in 64, 66, 73, 76, 77, 79, 80, 82, 83, 84, 86, 88, 90, and again then in 2020. We won the FA Cup in 65, 74, 84, 65, 74, 86, 89, 92, 2001, 2006, 2022. We won the League Cup in 81, 82, 83, 84, 95, 2001, 03, 2012, and 2022. Football League Super Cup in 86. The Community Shield on 16 occasions, but because it's a pre-season friendly, I'm not going to read out the years. European Cups in 77, 78, 81, 84, 2005, and 2019. UEFA Cups in 73, 76, 2001. European Super Cups in 77, 2001, 2005, and 2019. A World Club Cup in 2019. Like, the vast majority of our success as a club has come under her time as monarch. Of our 19 league titles, only 5 came before that. Our club was 50 years old. 60 years old. Yeah, my maths is 60 years old. 60 years old. 60 years before, 70 years after her becoming the monarch. Yet 5 league titles before, 14 since. We did win 3 second division titles before and only 1 since, so maybe she screwed us on that. But all the rest of our success, bar a Lancashire League and a Sheriff of London Charity Shield, have come after, which it's just, I know it means nothing. It's not correlated to her being queen at all. It's just to show the sheer length of time that she was the queen. I would be surprised if anyone listening to this remembers anything other than her being queen. I really would. Like, realistically, to remember, to have real memories of her becoming queen, you probably would have to be 74, 75 maybe. Like, who remembers King George? King George VI, I should say. I don't know that many will. I really don't know that many who listen to this, many who are on Twitter, will remember. It's a massive moment in history. It is a massive moment in history. The queen that never should be. She wasn't born to be queen. She became queen because Edward VIII decided to abdicate the throne. Her dad became king, and that put her in line for it. Like, I don't think people should be on Twitter, on any form of social media, celebrating her death. Celebrate her life, yeah, but not celebrate, like not spewing out hate and venom. And maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. In terms of the main Liverpool sites, this is Anfield have a piece up about the game being cancelled. Liverpool's Jurgen Klopp have been here before. Sorry, Jurgen Klopp has been here before, but Liverpool have to do some soul searching. He hasn't been here before at this club. Insulting defeat, non-existing press, and subdued Salah. The last word on Napoli. When can Liverpool versus Wolves be rescheduled for? I think I saw the first weekend available was in January. So, that'll be fun. Yeah, January 17th and 18th. Klopp favourite to fill Potter void. What? This is obviously somebody Klopp. Oh, Lallana. Yeah, he's not going to get to be manager now. Oh, good enough for him. Right, what have we got on Liverpool.com? Anything to at least lift the mood. Jurgen Klopp can no longer resist Liverpool experiment as Trent Alexander-Arnold reality shifts. Jurgen Klopp has repeatedly rejected the idea of moving Trent into midfield, but reasons he has given previously now look shaky. I wouldn't be against giving it a go. Not in the three. I wouldn't do it in the three. But I do it in the midfield four, play Trent narrow on the right, Diaz high and wide on the left, and play Mo up front with Darwin, with Thiago and Fab as a double pivot in midfield. I think that could work. Jurgen Klopp must be forced into James Milner change of reality. He must be forced into telling James Milner it's over. Thiago Alcantara return can restore Liverpool's best playmaker. Julian Ward and Michael Edwards have both made transfer mistake, and Liverpool have 13.5 million reminder. Liverpool can reject FSG contract mistake narrative with Jordan Henderson difference clear. Can't even be arsed. Liverpool tipped to make super signing as Jurgen Klopp told to seal 25 goal, 31 million transfer. Who's this? Take 25 goals. Karius returns. Larry's Karius is gone, so fair play to him. Oh, Liverpool have been told to sign Ivan Toney by Darragh McAnthony, who is the chairman of Peterborough. Now, I've spoken to Darragh on Mo's Money Talks podcast. Really nice guy, but and look, I agree. I would take Ivan Toney in an instant. In an instant, I'd take Ivan Toney. But I would say he has a vested interest because he's got a big sell-on clause on Ivan Toney's deal from when he went to Brentford. Super signing backed. Danny Murphy has backed Liverpool to win the race, sign Jude Bellingham. Yeah, whatever. Danny Murphy is an absolute moron. And if you've heard him with the absolute dribble he's been coming out with lately, you just turn him off. You shouldn't be listening to TalkSport anyway, because it is populated by absolute clowns. Murphy, Jason Cundy's the worst of them. Jason Cundy said he'd never seen John Terry have a prolonged dip in form like Virgil's had. I don't even know what that means. Virgil hasn't had a prolonged dip in form. And John Terry had many, many games when he was garbage and never had a single one where he was as good as Virgil. Same goes for Rio. Rio and John Terry are only as highly rated as they are because they played in teams that won a lot. People use team success to hype them up. Neither of them were even the best defenders at their own club. Carvalho was better than John Terry. Vidic was better than Rio. Rio's the fourth best United centre-back in the Premier League era, behind Stam, Pallister and Vidic. And Terry's the third best at Chelsea behind Carvalho and Desai. So these people are just idiots. AnfieldIndex.com will cheer us all up. We've got loads of new podcasts. We've got a new Euro incision, Nina and Themis discussing the Napoli game. There's a new Scouted. It's for the Wolves game, so only about half an hour of it is the Wolves game. We spent a long time talking about Graham Potter going to Chelsea and what it could mean for Chelsea and for Brighton and who Brighton should get. So you can still listen to that, but the Wolves part obviously is now fairly irrelevant, but we will be putting that same podcast back out when that game comes back round. Downey was very busy. He's done a Mulby on the spot, Trev and Jan having a look at a bad week for the Reds. And then Trev, Lisa Marie, Guy and Carl looking back at a worrying week for the Reds, talking about Sylvester Stallone, Monty Burns and personal training. Oh, yes. Give that one a listen. Episode 339 of the Anfield Index podcast. And that's it. That is me for today, folks. I hope you all have a good day. I hope you all enjoy your weekend. There is still loads of other sport available to you this weekend. There just is. There is a massive UFC event, if that's your bag. You've got Chimaev versus Diaz. It should be a belter of a fight. Nate Diaz's last fight in the UFC. You've got Tony Ferguson, Kevin Holland, and a few others that are well worth a watch. Johnny Walker could be interesting because he said he's figured out what went wrong in his career. So you've got a bunch of that to watch this weekend. Like I said earlier, there is rugby. There's rugby league. I think there's boxing on this weekend as well. Yeah, Clarissa Shields is fighting, who's probably the second best women's boxer in the world. She's fighting a Brit called Savannah Marshall. So you might want to give that one a watch. Anything else? Do we have anything else? I think that's it. Look, you'll find something to do. And if not, read a book. Read a book, watch a film, spend time with your families, go for a walk, go outside. Just go outside. Just sit in the garden for a while. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You don't have to throw the toys. You'll be fine. I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.